Notnerd Podcast, Episode 191, Seymour Buttsss.
Welcome to the Notnerd Podcast. I'm Nate Heath, and we're here to help you tech better. We have scoured through all of the tech news going on just to find the stuff that you might actually care about. Here with me, as always, Mr. Dave Baylor.
Good old Nathan Twallerton. You have no idea what I was saying, do you?
You've sang it before. It's some Broadway musical thing. You got to save that for your Broadway. Your way off Broadway podcast you're going to start.
Yes, Nathan Detroit from Guys and Dolls. Every time I think of you, I think of Frank Sinatra in that role. It's because you look just like him.
Yeah. Hey, I wanted to remind people, because we're starting to see more and more rumors and leaks and all this stuff. It's the beginning of August, and no matter what year you're listening to this podcast in, it's not a good time to buy a phone. A smartphone.
Right. Especially if you're an Apple person, because about a month from now.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. We should have new iPhones in a month. Yeah. Samsung's doing new Note phones, new Pixel phones. So September, it's usually spring and fall. There's a big round of new devices.
Yeah.
And so just a healthy reminder that if you're like, oh, I'm bored today, I should go down to the T-Mobile store and get a new phone. Just hold off for a month if you can, because you could either get the current phones for cheaper or the latest and the greatest.
I was recommending to a friend that they buy their wife the $750 iPhone XR.
Yes.
And I said, but you might just wait a few weeks, because you could probably get the new model for the same money.
Yes.
Or you can possibly get the older model on clearance somewhere that they're getting rid of them, or they lower the price or whatever. Who knows?
Yeah.
Or get a refurbished one off of. So, yes, good advice. Thank you.
Always some deals. So, yes, it's getting to be new flagship phone season, so we will see what comes with that. Our follow-up this week, we were talking last week about the Sprint T-Mobile merger.
Yes.
And how Dish was getting some of the spectrum that was part of the deal. And so Dish, I don't think I mentioned this last week. It's so riveting that I'm sure all of you probably forgot that Dish, for them to be able to merge, Dish has to become, this is the government saying this, the fourth legitimate carrier. So instead of there being four carriers, AT&T, Verizon, Sprint, and T-Mobile, Sprint and T-Mobile want to join forces to fight against AT&T and Verizon. Well, the government, for some reason, says, well, there must be a fourth company, and so that's why Dish is getting the spectrum. They're also getting, I had forgotten about this, I believe, Boost Mobile, Virgin Mobile, and the Sprint prepaid services. We've talked about some of those prepaid or lower-end services before, so those are all going to come under the Dish umbrella.
Interesting.
So it'll be interesting to see how those services change and what Dish comes up with the service. And
you know what I'd love to see? I'd love to see the government auctioning off its spectrum to T-Mobile and Sprint, and then re-auctioning it off to Dish, and then re-auctioning it off.
Yes.
It's like it's basically just a natural resource that they keep getting money for.
Bottled water.
Yeah. It's great.
Yeah, I don't know. And then there's the whole 5G thing that is in the works anyways, which could change everything. So stay tuned.
Yeah, and I heard some recent rumors that possibly, well, all the phones that come out next year on Apple's side of things will have the 5G. It was rumored that it might be 2021. Yes. So that's a technology that we'll keep our ears on, our eyes on, and see what's happening there. But so far, it doesn't seem too exciting.
Yeah,
honestly.
Yeah. Who knows? Another one that we've been talking about lately is ByteDance, the company, which you might not remember.
I have not.
They own TikTok. They're the company that bought TikTok and Musical.ly. Well, this is a small world story here. They have purchased JukeDeck, which if you have been a longtime listener, you might remember that JukeDeck was the AI song service that we used to create our theme song.
Right. And in other news, you may have noticed that my outro, I've kind of updated that the past couple episodes. I don't think anybody noticed, but we had one angry listener.
Yes, we had one angry listener that represents most of you. So we are going to I think we might adjust back on that. But yeah, so Juke Deck, and we had actually, for another project we were working on for somebody, I was like, Dave, just go to Juke Deck and make your own song. And you went there and it was like, we're not available right now. So this was all probably in the works. So hopefully with TikTok, they'll have some where you could even like make your own songs for stuff or bring back the Juke Deck service because it was pretty cool.
And I doubt we'll ever hear another song like the Notnerd podcast.
This is true. That locks us in as being super unique. You know what else is super unique? Dave's Pro Tip of the Week.
Nate, we've talked about spam before.
Yes.
And last week, I think we talked some about email. But spam is something that we have to deal with email. It's unwanted email that comes in, whether you're using Gmail or Yahoo Mail or your corporate Microsoft Exchange server or whatever. There's a spam filter that's designed to pull out messages that the service providers know are just junk mail that aren't intended for anybody but to trick them or to solicit you to buy things. So what do you do? How do you combat spam? And really, you don't really need to do anything. But I will say this. Most of your service providers will have a little button. And spam is also referred to as junk mail in some platforms. And so you can help yourself out and the rest of the world out by clicking on a message that you know is spam or unwanted and clicking that little spam button. Generally, the service providers or the application you're using will make a little block list or a blacklist that will prevent those from coming in the future. But you have a tip about spam that you'd like to share with our wonderful, beautiful, handsome audience.
Yes, this is true. And I believe I've mentioned this before, but I use Gmail, and Gmail is very aggressive with their spam filtering because, again, they want people to have a good email experience. So I have found that sometimes they over-spamify messages, and every once in a while there'll be something I'm looking for, and I'll go in my spam, and so you always have that, like somebody sends you an email, you can't find it, go check your spam. That's always a good reminder.
Yeah, or if it's someone new that you've never received an email from before, Gmail may say, you don't know this person. If they're not on
your contacts list or whatever.
Yeah.
But there's also, I'll go in there every once in a while and just scroll through, the last day or two of spam messages and look, because a lot of times what will happen is maybe there's a newsletter or a company that I get emails from, and I don't open all those emails, so I just delete them. So I believe Gmail takes that as a lower indicator that, he never looks at these emails. He probably doesn't want to see them. Well, I do. I can just read the subject line, the little summary, and go, okay, this one, they're not giving me 50% off yet. I don't want to see this email.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'll go in there and I'll find something and go, oh, that's why I haven't heard from those guys in forever.
Because it'll click the little spam filter button, and all of them are the destination spam is where they're going. Yeah.
And you can also, because I'm guessing, because I forget to do it for, a month at a time, that most people don't, if you're using Gmail or whatever service, go look at that spam folder. And you might go, well, yeah, I never get spam. Well, you probably are getting plenty of it. It's just going in there. It automatically deletes after 30 days. So you can go in there and just kind of see some of those things, and you'll see, I get ones all the time. Hey, your website domain's expiring. Click here to renew now, or there's an issue with this. And they've got these big red blocks at the top that say, this is not from who you think it is.
Yeah.
So they're doing a really great job. It's just that fine balance on the spectrum of being too safe or too lenient. And I think, hey, this is my charge for you. A couple weeks ago is to go clean out your downloads folder, which Todd said he did do.
Oh, great.
And this week it's go look through your spam filter. Just educate yourself on what's in there. See if there's something you're missing, or if you can be really thankful to your email service provider that you're not getting a bunch of really scary messages and losing all your money.
But a word of warning, if you see the one in there that says hot Russian brides, 50% off or whatever, don't click it. It's a trick. I know a guy. Yeah.
Yes, you do. Our 5 takes of the week. This first one, I found this. It's interesting. There is a website, and you can go to it on your phone. It's detoxify.app is the URL.
Okay.
So the idea is, we're in this, much like spam, we're in this constant battle with screen addiction, if you call it that, or just using our devices too much, spend too much time on Facebook, Instagram, all those different things. So what they have created is an interesting little kind of a workaround where if you go there on your phone, it'll give you instructions. And if you say, you know what, I'm going to take Facebook off my phone, or I'm going to hide the app, and they will let you. We've talked about before, you can put like a shortcut to a website on your phone screen.
Yeah.
You can do that, and they use the icons for these popular services. So I did it with Facebook just to test it out. And so it looks just like I've got the Facebook app here on my phone.
Yeah. What happens when you click it?
And when I click it, it opens their website and says, well, real-time update on this pic. So what it did, I tried it a couple times, and it said, you'd open this and go, great job. Go ahead and close this. You avoided Facebook one more time. You're breaking your habit with going onto Facebook because you click the icon out of habit and it takes you there. Well, here's my real-time update. I think I opened it. This is the third time. Mm-hmm. For us, in order to be able to cover our costs, we ask our users to contribute a tiny amount to, if they find the app useful. Donate to see the detox counter again. So you get 2 free clicks before they make you give them money to use this.
That's ridiculous. So don't use this.
Unless you really need it, and then it would be worth making a donation. But
and you could probably donate $1 or whatever. And also a real-time follow-up, do not go to detoxify.com. It's a website for all these herbal
herbal detoxification.
Yeah. So detoxify.app, if it's something that you can utilize to break your social media addiction, it seems like it's worth it. But you only get a couple clicks for a trial.
Because I will say it all the time. I'll open my phone to get a code, to unlock some service I'm trying to log into, and I see that, and it's like automatic. You click on the Facebook app, you scroll, and then it's like, what was I doing? Oh, yeah, I was doing work.
And some people can find relief by moving those icons to the second page of their screen and not having them on the front. So maybe we'll do an episode about social media addiction and how to avoid it.
Let us know if you have any solutions or if you have that problem and would like us to talk about more. Well, as we mentioned, it is quarterly results time, and we don't talk about this a lot. I am going to link to Jason Snell at sixcolors.com. Mm-hmm. He always does these amazing charts. Shocker, Apple had a great quarter. There was a couple interesting things, much like I talked about before with Microsoft and Netflix. One of the things with Apple, this was the first quarter where iPhone, in 7 years, I think, that iPhone was less than 50% of their revenue.
Wow.
So there's been a lot of talk about, you can only sell so many iPhones. iPhone sales were down a little bit. And I did see some different discussions because there were some articles that was like, Apple's doomed. It's less than 50%. The iPhone's going away. Well, somebody else pointed, remember 4 years ago when you said that smartphone sales were going to decline and that Apple needed to diversify and do work on other things so it wasn't just smart? So again,
that's what they did.
These tech writers, all they want to do is be able to say Apple is doomed, and Apple is actually diversified. Their services are way up. iPad was up over last year. Mac was up over last year. Wearables was up 68% over this quarter last year. So Apple Watch and AirPods.
Yeah, here's a fun tip that I heard, or a interesting piece of information, that the Apple Watch has sold more than iPod. Remember iPod?
Yes. Yeah.
Remember the biggest selling consumer device ever, the iPod? Well, the Apple Watch has sold more than the iPod now.
Yeah. No, that's
it's incredible.
Crazy. And the other thing that I heard, because Google released their information as well, Google's massive cash pile is now bigger than Apple's, because for many years everybody says Apple's got all this cash. They're just sitting on all this money. Oh, they just need to spend some of this money. Nobody else holds on to money like Apple does.
Give it back to the investors, which I say, because I have a couple shares of Apple.
Yes. So in the last 2 years, Alphabet, which is Google's parent company, their bank account has grown by $20 billion with the B dollars.
Wow.
To $117 billion. Now, Apple did, at the end of 2017, have $163 billion in the bank, but they now have $102 billion in the bank. So it's crazy how much money they have, but Apple's been doing some acquisitions. And on my Feedly news feed, where I scroll through to find everything, TechMeme, which is one of the tech sites that I follow, this last 2 weeks, there has been probably 100 different quarterly results. And I would say most of these companies are making money, besides like Uber and Nintendo was down a little bit. Samsung did not make a whole lot of profit, but they still make a whole lot of money. But yeah, so it's just interesting. And another podcast I was listening to, the Vergecast from TheVerge.com, they were saying, just remember on all this quarterly results stuff, unless you are a major shareholder, do not worry about this stuff. This is why we've started talking about it less, and I'm trying to find kind of more of these interesting points, because it's like, we just care that they're making good products. We care that they've got some competition, that they're putting out good products, that, you know, they're not making these major foibles that, you know, are going to put them out of business. It's the stock price is such a...
It doesn't matter.
It's close to Bitcoin as far as, you know, how much you should really be following that, unless you're, you know, some major stock investor.
A day trader or something.
Yes, exactly. Ninja. Who would have thought that Ninja would be a household name? Now, some of you are going...
Yes, I think you need to explain who Ninja is.
Yes, so Ninja is the most popular Fortnite player. He is on Twitch. He has been the top guy. He's the one
He's not the number one. He's not the best.
Oh, yeah.
But he's the most popular.
Yes,
he
he's the most popular,
online.
And he made, you know, $20 million last year. So he's made Twitch a lot of money because they take a small commission of all that money he's getting in. Well, he announced that he's moving to Microsoft Mixer.
I've never heard of this.
Either have I, and I don't know. I can't imagine. There's probably some secret deal where they are paying him $20 million just to make their platform legitimate.
You have to. You know for sure. He's getting multiple millions of dollars to switch platforms. And why does he care? The whole reason he's doing this is to make money.
Yeah.
I mean, it's his job, so why wouldn't you? It's just like a celebrity switching studios or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. So Microsoft Mixer is where Ninja will be playing Fortnite now.
Well, I'm going to have to tune in there and watch. No, probably not.
But we have talked about how, you know, Facebook, they've tried to do a game streaming service. Twitch has been so successful. YouTube's tried it.
Yeah.
They're all trying this.
And doesn't Amazon own Twitch now?
Yes, Amazon owns Twitch. So Ninja, if you're looking for him, if you can't find him on Twitch, go try to find Microsoft Mixer. Good luck.
Yeah, good luck.
Uber, we mentioned Uber's quarterly results. Well, they are laying off 400 employees.
Now, these aren't like drivers. These are corporate employees that they have at their home office.
Yes. And what I found interesting, it looks like most of these people are coming from the 1,200 people they had on their marketing team.
Why do they need 1,200 people?
I can't even imagine.
You need like 40 people, I think.
Maybe. Like, what are they doing?
I don't know.
Like, what is it? 1,200 people. Are they cold calling people saying, hey, have you installed the Uber app on your phone?
Now, they may have marketing agents in the various markets all around the world who just manage their marketing for that location, maybe?
I just can't imagine. It does say that Uber employs almost 25,000 people globally. Again, not drivers. That just seems so... like it's an app.
Yeah.
What are they? Are they manually like... There are literally people sitting there tying drivers to rides?
I think a computer does it. But
you would hope so. But they did go public a couple months ago.
Yeah.
And so, you know, they've been losing a lot of money. So they're trying to figure out ways to make money. And that seems like a great place to start, is not having 25,000 employees.
Do they have 400 accountants that they could lay off maybe? I don't know.
I don't know. And it looks like apparently I was wrong. If you're an Uber investor, their quarterly results actually come out August 8th. So I had not seen theirs for this quarter yet. I had just seen this news here. I don't know if you heard about this one, Dave, but Google went around out in public, like somebody that was petitioning at a park or at a Whole Foods to, get you to sign some petition. They were paying people $5 to scan their faces.
I have not heard of this till I saw the article, and I did not see anyone out in the wild scanning faces.
I don't think we made the cut. It was probably, you would just guess they would do it more, where they have some major presences.
California or Seattle or wherever.
Mountain View or New York or something like that. But the reason that they're doing it is they have leaked some exciting new features for their Google Pixel 4. Now, Apple famously supposedly tries to hide all leaks and not let any information come out before they announce a phone.
Yeah.
Well, we might have mentioned it before, but Google has actually been they've been
controlled leaks
and making press announcements about what the Pixel 4 is going to look like, what the cameras, and they announced this week that it's going to have their version of Face ID, which looks like a major step up from Apple's Face ID, to which I say, well, Apple's coming out with a new phone next month if they don't upgrade their Face ID.
So they're competing with a year-old technology, basically.
Yes. So theirs looks like a step up from what Apple did a year ago, but you'd be able to, like when you just, with the iPhone, you pick it up, it unlocks upon your face, you swipe up and you get your home screen.
Yeah.
They're going to have some like gesture controls on your phone. So when you reach for your phone, it'll wake up, it'll start looking for your face. It works at any angle or direction.
Hallelujah.
And then when it picks up, it takes you straight to your home screen instead of having to swipe up.
Yeah.
There's some... We'll see what Apple does next month, but they were paying people $5 a month. They said, like, oh, we can keep the information for 18 months. But what they wanted to do is make sure that it worked with all different face types, different skin tones. Mm-hmm. So they were doing research, paying people $5. You're sitting at the park, go, okay, scan my face. I mean, I don't know that it's tied to a name.
That's
I know.
interesting...
I know we put on our tinfoil hats when we talk about Google's, getting information from people. What's
interesting about it is Apple's has a dot emitter, and then it has an infrared sensor and a camera, of course, that looks at the dimensionality of a face and converts that into a code of sorts, and then compares it whenever you unlock the phone. I don't know what advantage you would have to scanning in real faces, because it's just a texture map of a surface that they're recording. So I don't know.
And Apple was able to do it without going out and paying people $5.
Well, and they have employees, can't they just...
I know, yeah. How many employees does it... That was my first thought. They have a diverse employee around the world that they could have every employee do it. Just
pay them $5 to do it.
Yeah, I don't... So it's kind of this weird, I don't know if it was a publicity stunt to say, hey, this is how hard we tried to do this.
It probably is.
But that's Google for you. Well, our security and privacy story of the week, before we get to one breach, we've had a lot of breaches lately, so I wanted another or two good stories. The first one, we alluded to this before, but the No More Ransom project has prevented at least $108 million in ransomware profits. So this is an organization that is working to do basically ransomware fixer applications. So if you get some ransomware on your computer network, you can download software and decrypt the stuff so you don't have to pay these people or go through the whole process. And the second story is Google Project Zero, who we have also mentioned before, who is Google's security research team, who's just looking for bugs in anything and everything. Well, they released a report saying that 95.8% of all bug reports that they find are fixed before the 90-day standard deadline that you would give a company. Like if they find something with Apple, they say, hey, we've found this. Here's how we found it. Here's what we think's going on.
Yeah,
you have 90 days before we tell the world.
Yeah, you want to let the company know so they have an opportunity to patch it, because if you just tell the world, then hackers are going to take advantage of that and then cause mass chaos and confusion.
Yeah, so you want to give the company a chance to fix it, and they said that 95.8% of all those are getting fixed. Companies are realizing, hey, when somebody tells us about a flaw, we need to get that fixed. Yeah. And I think they had found 4 recently in iOS, but they were fixed almost immediately in the latest 12.4 or whatever of iOS. So
this is just kind of like a public service thing that they do to the entire internet, is finding bugs in anything and everything.
Yeah. So it much goes back like spam. Great. They are trying to make a better experience on the internet, so we spend more time having a quality experience there. Yeah. And then we do have to talk about the one big breach this week. Boy. Capital One credit card. There was a breach of over 100 million credit card applications from the last, I don't know what it was, 6 months or something. So if you had applied for a credit card from Capital One, expect to get a email with some free credit monitoring to add on to the decade you already have from the various breaches.
What's in your wallet, hacker?
Yes. And I actually do have a Capital One credit card, but I have had it for 10 years, so I did not apply for it, and I have not heard from them. This one was kind of interesting, though, because they were able to find, it was actually a U.S. citizen in America that took the information. She worked for Amazon Web Services up in Seattle and had access. Capital One was storing this information on Amazon Web Services, like every company.
Yeah.
I mean, Apple does. Google probably uses them too, even though they have their own
Microsoft
service.
probably does, even though they have their own servers too.
Yes, everybody uses Amazon Web Services, and so she was able to get access, and she was kind of a rebel, and she was posting about it online, and kind of so they were able to find her and arrest her. And
why would you do that?
People, there's Dave, I don't know if you know this. There are some people that do some weird things out there.
Yeah, I guess so.
Our bonus hot take of the week.
I can't
might be the single.
I can't believe you're sharing this with the world.
I know. I wanted to keep it as a personal thing. This might be the single best link that we have ever provided you. The best resource. https://www.buttsss.com. Yes, that's Butts with 3 S's. And some creative graphic designer created a long list of free, it says at the top, Buttsss, a collection of beautiful round butt illustration. And these are animated GIFs that you can download them all. You can share these. They are just the quirkiest. There's the space butt where he's wearing a space helmet. There's the keynote butt where he's holding up a presentation.
I have to tell you, before you click, these are just black and white line art, cartoony butts. These are not like any type of not safe for work.
Yes,
type.
The superhero butt. I mean, it is.
The clapping butt got me.
The clapping butt.
Yeah.
It is. Some people have way too much time on their hands, and it is pretty funny. You can go download them and share them with your friends where appropriate.
Yes. I wouldn't be sending the CEO of your company the triple butt icon.
Well, depending on if you work for Spanx, maybe it's appropriate, or some company in that area.
I don't know.
I don't know either, but what I do know is it's time for our picks of the week.
So, Nate, I have a kind of a tortured past with one of my favorite hobbies, and that is flying.
Yes, you do. I should charge you for the therapy I've provided on this topic.
Yeah, I like to fly drones around. I'm trying to build a company. If anyone needs any aerial photography or cinematography, please let me know. I do have some equipment that I could make use of to do that. So I fly these drones around, and I'm a slow burn. I don't just jump out and do stuff. Like, I just don't say, let's just dive into this thing. Rules be danged. Let's just do whatever. I'm very methodical, and I plan and I research. And so for the past couple of years, I've been purchasing and flying and practicing and certifying drones so that one day I can do this commercially, right? Most people would just be like, buy the certificate, buy a drone, and be like, give me money. I'm going to do it. Not me, So I always practice, and this past weekend I went camping with some friends. I'm like, okay, I'm going to bring my drone. I'm going to try to get some aerial shots for like a demo reel of my footage and stuff like that. And I had some downtime. I'm just goofing off. My drone cuts out, and it returns to home right into a tree and falls.
I've seen the video, folks.
It falls like it's got to be like 70 feet in the air.
Oh yeah.
To a hard compacted surface and breaks my drone. What can I do? So what I did is after a lot of
research and discussion.
I was going to say after a lot of counseling from you.
Oh, well, yes.
And my wife,
therapy session.
Yeah, and my wife who shakes her head and is like, I just don't care. I decided to go lower, and I got a cheaper drone. And this is what I want to talk to you folks about today for my pick of the week. I purchased the Parrot Bebop 2 drone off of Amazon, and I got it renewed or refurbished or used or whatever. And so far I've flew it one day, and so far it seems to work really well. It's got a 1080p camera. I bought a bundle that included the drone, a controller, and a little helmet that you can slide your cell phone into for a type of VR or point of view experience for about $250. Now, some of you may be saying, I bought my kid a $40 drone. $250 is a lot of money to spend. Well, You can spend a lot more on a drone. You can spend normally about $600 to $800, and if you're looking for the professional ones, we're talking $1,500 up to like $3,000. And then, of course, the commercial movie people who have custom ones, they can spend $10,000 to $20,000 on a drone. So $250 in that landscape is pretty affordable. Now, I will say this pick of the week. If you want to get a Bebop 2 drone, they're great. I would recommend getting one off of Amazon refurbished, so they're cheaper. But you can get just the unit and fly it with your cell phone. You don't have to have all this fancy controller and all this stuff. And those go for about $140 or so. So you can get into this pretty cheap. But I did read an article the other day on a drone news website that I found.
As you do.
As I do, as everyone does, I'm sure, that Parrot is dropping all of their toy consumer brands of drones and only doing the Anafi and the Anafi FLIR infrared commercial type drones. So you probably won't be able to buy a new one here soon as the stores deplete, but it's still a very solid drone. It's easy to fly. It's small. It's lightweight. The accessories for it are inexpensive. So if you're looking to get into a drone, I would highly recommend Bebop 2.
Nice. Yes, the drone saga continues, and I'm sure we will hear more as time goes on. Well, my pick of the week this week is I'm taking a little liberty with it. I've talked before, about my PDX Fast Foodie and the no sugar, no grains, my weight loss. Well, I am going to recommend it. Just came out this week. Vinny Tortorich, who trademarked the no sugar, no grains, and who I've followed for several years. And
is he like a health fitness guru guy?
Yes, yeah. He was a celebrity fitness trainer for a long time. When the celebrities wanted to get in shape for a movie, they would come to him, and he started figuring out all this. Hey, wait, maybe it's the carbs and sugar that's causing all the problems. Yeah. So he did a GoFundMe, I believe it was, whatever platform, Indiegogo, to raise money to make a documentary.
Yeah.
He got together all these top luminaries in, that are following this low carb, high fat diet type stuff. And he made this documentary, and it came out this week, and it is just mind boggling how much we've been lied to. He really looks, here's the tagline on iTunes. It's actually right now, or this week, it has been the number 10 movie overall on iTunes. So this guy isn't just a fly by night, random, one little guy that's making a movie. This is real deal. To be number 10, I mean, you're up there with Marvel movies and all the top movies.
Yeah.
And it just came out this week. So it says Fat, and again, it's called Fat, a documentary, that goes into the digestion as well.
Gotcha.
I don't think that's intentional. But it says, Fat tells the far-fetched but completely true history of how our country became so unhealthy. In 1970, just over 1.5 million people had been diagnosed with diabetes in the United States. Now over 30 million have diabetes. What's even more alarming is that 100 million people, 1 in 3, have diabetes or are pre-diabetic. And it goes on to talk more just about how our recent history, this is all a recent thing. This is like 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s where a lot of this has changed.
Right.
So it is available. You can purchase physical copies on Amazon. You can rent it or do digital on Amazon, iTunes.
Yeah.
I believe Vimeo as well. You can purchase it. So he got a major distributor for this. So it's not on Netflix, but I would highly recommend. And to be honest, if you say, man, I'd really like to watch that, I'd really like to make some health changes, but I just can't afford $3 or $4 to rent it, send me a message. I will literally rent it for you. That's how important I think this is, because everything, the food pyramid, they get into that. Kellogg's cereal, all this stuff, and it's a fun video. He's got a bunch of, I love super old archive footage.
Yeah.
Like these guys talking back like in the 40s of, these scientists all formal in their library in front of these guys.
My favorite brand of cigarette is Camel.
Yes,
you should smoke it too.
Yes, they actually, I think they literally have that clip in there because they talk about smoking and, doctors recommend smoking Camel cigarettes. But yes, please just go check it out. It's, I think it's like 90 minutes. It is a very fun watch and very informative, and what he's done has changed my life health-wise, but very interesting thing there. And our Ramazon purchase of the week, also interesting. We love it when you guys go to Amazon, you shop for whatever you do, but you go through amazon.notnerd.com so that we get a little affiliate kickback. We heard from Elliot's bought a couple things off of that we've talked about as picks of the week, and Jared bought the one that we talked about last week, the Amazon purchase. That was him, and I don't know who this one is, but this is something that I could use if it actually works. So I would love to hear from you. It is the Back Posture Corrector for Women Men, Primate Posture Brace, Back Straightener Shoulder Brace, Upper Back Brace, Posture Support, Kyphoscoliosis by Cellbite.
It's for primates? Is that what
Well, we are primates.
Yeah.
Primate Posture Brace. That is hard to say.
I'm just wondering why they chose that word.
Yeah,
Were you thinking you're going to buy this for your dog?
It's an Amazon description. Okay. It is Amazon's choice. It's got 4.5 stars on 622 customer reviews. So this is like a shoulder harness that pulls your shoulders back so you're in a more proper position, which I am never in. I try to be more mindful of it, but as soon as I stop thinking about it, I'm back to a primate stance.
Yeah. You just gotta go through life just feeling like you're flexing on everybody.
Yes.
Just being all cocky. That's how you should be standing.
So if this does work, let me know. I would be interested in purchasing this, but it is a great reminder that there's some great health products on Amazon too, and especially when we're using technology so much, it's important to think about posture and
maybe getting outside once in a while too. Your phone is portable. You can take it outside on a walk with you.
Yes.
I'm kidding. Put your phone away and enjoy nature.
Okay, so you've seen a picture of it, Dave.
Yes.
What would you pay for this device?
Well, it's a priceless device.
Well, yes.
It can help you with your posture. But I'm thinking the materials and all this stuff with Amazon, I'm going to go with $17.99 is what this costs.
Way off. $15.98, and you could get free same-day delivery if you have an order of $35 or more. $15.98, that's
pretty good.
And then that brings up an interesting point, Dave. You say, this is priceless. Now, if you remember, like back to the 80s and 90s, you'd see an infomercial and it was like, you need this. It's going to change your life. 3 easy payments of $99.99.
Yeah.
Priceless is not really a term you can use anymore because China can just copy everything and sell it for cheaper. So people have to. I was actually talking to a friend who works for a company. They sell an iPhone product, which will remain unnamed, but they were the top product in this category, and other people have come up that are doing higher level stuff, and then there's stuff you can get for $10 on Amazon, and so they might just be closing down.
Yeah,
the owner of the company said, yeah, I'm looking, if nothing changes before October, I just don't see why I would stay in business with this because it's just, which is sad for him because he kind of created this, but it's, device for your smartphones and it is what it is.
The problem is most people manufacture their items in China, which basically has no copyright enforcement or laws over there. And so a manufacturer even could take what you've sent them to manufacture and just stick another label on it and sell it elsewhere. There's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah. So, that's interesting that you bring up priceless, which is not really something you can find unless it's something very old that cannot be recreated.
That's why I'm going to get a 3D printer and I'm going to make everything myself.
There you go. Makes sense. Well, we're going to wrap up this episode. Make sure you check out our YouTube page. We are now posting the podcast on there, like I mentioned, and we're working on some other videos for there. Leave us a review in iTunes so we can be as popular as Fat, a documentary. And if you leave us a review, we will read it on the podcast. Give us a call, too. If you have questions, we get these questions all the time, and we need to get better because sometimes people, if they have my number, they'll just text me and I answer them real quick. But we need to bring them up on the podcast because if you have a problem, there's a good chance somebody else has the problem as well.
I tell you what, Nate, we did not talk about this, but what if we give a prize pack to the first person who gives us a new review on iTunes?
Yes.
Because we have, friends, family, longtime listeners who have put reviews on there, but there are a lot of listeners who've never given us an iTunes review.
Yeah.
So to the first person who gives us an iTunes review who's never done it before, we're going to send a prize pack your way.
Prize pack. We will send it
anywhere.
Internationally. I don't care. I will give you prize pack.
The only place we will not send it is the International Space Station.
Oh, yes.
But we will send some digital content your way.
Oh, there we go. So. And give them a special shout out on the podcast.
Yes. They need the shout out.
Okay. With that, please get out there and tech better.
Your butt thing. Jeez, it's on my screen right now. Go ahead, get off.
The butt.
Get off of my screen. Good times.
Okay.